Actually, the wording was, "You're not allowed." That's what he told me. You're not allowed. I understood supervised because it's Sunday, it was when I'm like, and the one kid, the young kid, and I can't. So the following day, he was the management, and I approached him, I tried to ask if anybody, was there looking for exterminator, and he said, no. We weren't notified, so I'm notified. And he said, oh, it doesn't look like that, you have to go to the office and talk to the office. Well, what are you here for? He said, well, we're not allowed to do it. I love it. You get paid.
We were tagged as the Sharks. The other side is the Jets. We're the Sharks. That's what she said to me.
Oh, really?
Sign in, please. Sign in. Please sign in. Please sign in. Yeah.
Sign in so they get hundreds of chairs.
Good idea. You don't want to. It's going to take like maybe an hour and a half.
That's the crazy lady comes out. I'm the crazy lady. I could be a crazy lady. I could. We love you anyway. We're all a little crazy. Some a little more than others.
That's true. That's very true.
Just in case I get diarrhea.
Oh, hi, Nina. Hi, honey. How are you? I know.
When I read that on I would have had a fight with him.
This is our third meeting, and I think this meeting right here has probably got about 24 people that wanted to come, but they couldn't make it. Okay, we just had one cancel. Something happened. But this is what we have. This is our strength here. Okay, you people want to learn something, we need to team up and create a hub on how to do different things. The story is going to begin with, I was probably reading something, and the vice president knocked on my door. Okay, and she says to me, oh, I'm just here to give you this copy of the cable bill, because Paul said he never got a copy. So if I figured if I give you a copy, then we'll know that he got a copy, and I'm going to give him a copy at 3 o'clock. I'm going to meet him. Okay, so I take advantage of the whole situation. I'm going to start a conversation. I'm not letting her just drop something off. Okay, so, I told her about Paul. I said, Terry in the meeting had said that she gave Paul a copy of the cable bill. This has been going on for months. He's been driving us nuts about this cable bill, everybody. Okay, so it's been going on for months. She goes, we gave him a copy, and when Paul was at the podium, she said, did you look at the back of the page? And he just went silent. Okay. So after the meeting, I said, Paul, give me a copy of what she gave you so that I can, let me look at it. Oh, I threw it away. What do you mean you throw it away? How could you throw it away? I told you don't throw anything away, but he threw it away. Okay, so now I'm looking at the cable bill, and I see that they just upgraded the service. $200 a month added. Plus, they added a cell phone. Why, I don't know. Okay, so, but whatever. But it's a new cell phone that was added to the service. So, you're going to see our cable bill go from $800 to about, $1,200.
I think it said $1,400.
Yeah, well, that could have been like a cross of when they pay, too. When you look at the budget, it's very hard to figure, did they pay 2 months? Did they pay 1 month? When you look at the income on the rental property, the one guy doesn't pay for 3 months, and then he pays for 5 months, and so you got to look at the way it's going, okay, and balance it out. I've been tracking all the finances for this year. I made a spreadsheet in Excel, like they used to do, like they used to publish, okay, and I balance everything that they're telling us, okay. It doesn't balance, okay. The numbers. When you look at, I didn't look at this month's, but if you look at last month's, Okay, if you look at the column, what they're saying, oh, we spent, I'm just using round numbers, we have $80,000 worth of income. We spent, 94,000. Our net income is minus 14,000. Okay, so how I approach that way of telling us what they're doing is year end 2020. They said X amount of dollars was in our checking, in all the accounts. Okay, I forget what the number was. Then in January, they had a net income of 192,000. So you add that to your closing balance, which was the day before. It's got to match. Doesn't add up. And as you go through the year, the net income does not add up. All the columns add up. Across totals, down totals, they all add up, but they do not add up when you do the net income that they put in there. Okay, so you have to look at that. They have their expenses, their income and their expenses, then their net income. Okay, another error, and I told Terry that too. I said, Terry, the accounting is way off again. I go, Joe, did you look at the audit? I go, no, because I'm looking at other things right now. I got so many things you got me looking at. I haven't had a chance. I'm waiting for all the checkbooks so that I can look at and compare. Okay, Barbara Egner said in the meeting in June 9th, she said that, and she put it in writing too, she said, we have 3 checking accounts. Nobody ever knew we had 3 checking accounts, ever. Okay, we have 3 checking accounts. Okay, I requested in July of 2020, in writing, in a meeting with the board of directors, in the office, the bank statements for 2020. Okay, now at that point it was only 6 months, but I've had 3 meetings with them. At the last meeting I said I want them all for 2020 because you didn't give me any yet, and then the last meeting was March, so you're going like almost a year. They're still not providing anything. Okay. So I finally got the and I have it. No, I don't have it here. I have the check statements from the bank, one account, but I could see they were transferring out, and I could see they were transferring in, and what's going on here? So I wrote the attorney, the lawyer, and I said to him, I can't read what you gave me. You got to give me something I can read. Everything is like copied and the ink is bled together that you can't figure out the numbers or who it's to or anything like that. I still haven't heard back from that. Okay. When Terry came to my house on, I don't know, about a week and a half ago, I guess it was, she said to me, we're changing our program right now as we speak. I go, what do you mean changing? I go, do you mean updating? She goes, oh, I don't know what I mean. All right, but she did say changing. Okay, she used that word. She has a tendency of talking about things that she doesn't know about. She just likes to spew out things. Okay, so I don't know if they changed the program or they updated the program, but she did have the nerve to say to me that you're never going to get into Judy's computer. I go, what do you mean? I go, well, if I get elected to that board, I'm going right into that computer. She goes, oh, no, you're not. Okay, so because I had an open claim going with the DCA, I emailed and I said, look, you got to help me here. We're getting in trouble. They're changing the accounting program. They're moving money. The money doesn't add up. And plus you have all my other complaints. There was like 3 pages of complaints. And she said she would send out a letter that day. She sent that letter out. Whatever it said, I don't know. I didn't get a copy of it. I didn't care. But so I know that that they've been warned about what they're doing. Okay. That's about the point that I got with the DCA. I do have the dispute open. I'm leaving it open. Okay. What I want to do next is I'm going to approach the board in the meeting. Everything's going to be public. I want everything recorded I ever say to them and what they say to us. Okay, I'm not doing any private meetings. I did that 3 times, and I got screwed over 3 times. Okay, so in the share owners meeting when we meet, I'm going to ask them what advances have you made on the laws that you have to follow that are over a year old. You had a whole year to straighten out how you're doing things. Okay, and I'm going to give you examples in a couple minutes. Okay, and but that's going to be my theme on how to approach them. Okay, is what are you doing now? Okay, and an example would be you read last month or somewhere that shrubs are being added in, and this, they're not allowed to, according to the law, they're not allowed to spend $50 without a binding vote. The new law says now if you have a binding vote, it has to be in front of the share owners before you act on that. You can't just have your little binding vote, okay, and then go buy the stuff you want to do, like hire the contractor, have the maintenance crew build 3 gazebos or whatever. You can't do that. You can't do that. Okay, you have to present it to the share owners. We can't say anything. We cannot stop them from doing it. But they have a procedure, and it's to delay and verify everything that's going on. And it's good for us because it gives us time. Okay, so now you had a year, it's over a year now, you have a year that they have been doing these purchases and binding and hired a contractor, signing the contract with the office, signing the contract with the maintenance crews. You know, they're 1-year contracts, they get signed every year. Okay, and they have to be done in front of the share owners. We're not going to know the price of payroll and stuff like that, but you'll know when they vote on the budget what the allowances are. Okay, and that's as far as you'll get. Okay, once a director is in place, it's his fiduciary to follow whatever suspicion he has. Okay, I have suspicion on these books, okay, that they're hiding, they're maneuvering, they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. Okay, I'm not saying somebody stole. I hope nobody stole. Really, that would be my wish. Okay, but nobody has verified the work done by the administrator over 10 years. You have an accountant comes in every year, he does an audit, but he does like, you balance your checkbook. Oh, you wrote a check for 50, you took in 50, it balances. That's all he does. And here's the balance you had last year, this is the balance you had this year, and you saved a couple bucks or you spent a couple bucks, whatever. That's his report, and I have that. Who? No, because he's only he only has to give a standard audit. Okay, what we need is a forensic audit. And a forensic audit would be, give me the contract, give me every check you wrote to this guy, every receipt, everything on this, and then you can check. That's forensic. In order to do that, it's expensive. It's very expensive. It's $100,000 to do that because we have so many transactions. Just think about it. If we have 2,000 transactions a year, 10 years, 200,000 transactions, that's tough. So I was offering my service. Let me look at it. I can go. I know how to read the program. I'm the only one. And I was in a room of 8 people, including the attorney for the association, and I said right to them, I am the only one that knows how to look at that program and verify what's being done. I can go back. Well, they probably burn everything after 7 years because they only have to keep it for 7 years, but so I can go back the full 7 years. You cannot audit, you cannot adjust any transaction in that program without it being recorded. Okay, and once it's recorded, so in other words, you wrote a check for 100, and it should have been 105. So you have to rewrite the check, and you have to re-enter the 105, and it's a change of the transaction. It goes into a secret file in there that can never be changed again. It's locked in there. This is like a requirement for that program to have that for IRS purposes or whoever put it in there. I don't know who put it in there. All right, so. How do we stop this? How do we stop them? Okay. No, never had a forensic. Never. Never. Well, they might have had it when they were in receivership. They probably did, but that's way before my time. You're going back 10 years. I don't know if when they were in receivership.
They bought and without anybody else's knowledge or else.
Maybe it blew away. I posted a video for everybody to look at concerning the changes in the law. Now, the changes in the law happened in May of 2020. So meaning everything they did after May of 2020, they had to follow these laws. Okay? And if you don't follow the law, what happens? You violate the law and you get in trouble. That's the way the game is. Okay? This list right here just says that certain things that change. In other words, if we want to remove a director, good luck. You're not removing any director. Okay, you need 51% of everybody. That's 3,200 divided by 2. That's crazy. You're not getting it. Okay, I mean, we could probably get it if you went door to door and and then you got to have the meeting of 300 minimum. Then you have to have 2/3 of those people vote him out or them out, whoever it may be. That's a long, long road. You're not going there. But the directors can vote another director out with the majority vote of the directors. So that's a change in the law there. Okay. It says that when there's a vacancy on the board, you must be a share owner to fill the vacancy. Okay, so they can't get like a manager in there and fill the vacancy or anything. Take Greg and stick him in. It has to be an owner. Okay, this is a good one now. This is what helps us. You have the new rules. May 2020. Okay, there's a lot of them. For the first time, the DCA, who controls all homeowner associations in New Jersey, has the power to enforce monetary penalties, where they could never do that before. You had to, like last year or the year before, you would have to take them to court, hire a lawyer, fight. Forget it. It costs too much money. I'm not giving all the money to a lawyer. Okay, so what this does is we make a list of complaints, what they're violating, what they're not following. Some of them are very strict. Okay. What they're not following. Then I want to get signatures, not just mine. I want as many, 100, 200 on there. So now they got to open their eyes a little bit better. Okay, and they're going to contact the board, which I think they just did with the one letter they sent to them, and the board's going to say, oh, we gave Michael everything he asked for. Have a good day. What am I going to do if they say something like that, right? What am I going to do? So now there's a monetary penalty that the DCA can. So instead of us going to a lawyer, we go to the DCA. If the DCA says, okay, we think you're right. You're showing, I got the proof, believe me. I wouldn't do this, have you here if I didn't. We think you're right. They're going to impose a penalty on the association, okay? The only thing they can do at that point is pay it, okay, or appeal it. So now we don't have to get a lawyer. They have to appeal our complaint that the DCA says we're right. I already got explanations on a lot of things, verbal on the phone, okay? They actually called me, okay, after my last email to them to get more information on what's going on. Sure.
Are they insured if they do have fines imposed upon them?
The directors are, yeah, they have director's insurance. Okay, so if you wanted to sue a director for a violation, what happens is our insurance company is going to defend them. Okay, if this is in another section of rules that I don't have here, but if the director is found guilty, they are held liable for the expense. You can't, yes, personally, because you can't make all us share owners pay for something that they did wrong. I mean, it can't happen that way. All right, so that's the avenue we would have to go there. This is where the binding vote, and I know you heard me barking about this a lot of times, the binding vote is so important. Okay, so if they're putting these bushes in, okay, in order to put those bushes in, they had to have a vote. Yes, we're putting them in. Yes, we're putting 40 in. Yes, we're putting 29 in, whatever number, okay, and everybody on the board votes. You got 7 votes.
Just the board has to vote on it.
Just the board votes, but they have to vote in front of us. They have to offer an open meeting for the share owners to do a, that's this year, including those bushes. Okay, so that's where I'm going with that. So they have to vote in front of us. That never happened. Okay, that's a violation. They can't do that. Okay, and what, I'm just going to use a far-fetched example. So some guy's out there smoking a cigarette, he trips on a bush, falls over, breaks his leg. The lady next to him, she's got lighter fluid, the building goes up in fire. Okay, so but what happens is, now there's a lawsuit. Okay, this is where the board is really thick. Okay, the insurance company is going to say, well, you violated the law on how you got those bushes. We're not paying. We're not paying. That's where it goes. Nowadays, more than not. This is what the insurance companies do. They look for the violations. Okay, so if they have to vote, it's got to be a binding vote. If they find a violation, okay, let's just say the board is found guilty. They violated. What happens is they go to the binding vote. If 2 people voted no and 5 people voted yes, the 5 people that voted yes, they pay. The 2 people that voted no, they don't pay. So that's fair. So it forces them to follow the rules. That's what we needed, because they're not following the rules. Even to this day, they're not following the rules. Okay. About elections, anybody can run for election. You can write in a vote. You can nominate yourself the day before the election. You don't need a resume. Those who want to be on the ballot should submit a resume. Okay, because you want to, show the people that are not here. We got 3,000 people are not here. Okay, we need to get the message out to them that there's,
There's got to be some way to be able to get the people that can't.
All right, this is what we're going to try. If you remember, like 2 months ago, Terry put in there like a little article. It looked like a advertisement type thing. It was all by itself, and it said something about the truth and lies, and don't believe what you hear, and all this stuff. She put that in there. Okay, that's her opinion. Okay, she put her opinion in there. Okay, there's nothing in there that was verified. I got insulted on that. I called her right out on that because I felt it was directed at us. Even though she didn't use her name, Facebook, don't believe what you hear, this, that, and the other thing. So now I'm saying to myself, okay, well, fair game. Let's submit something to the, what's the girl's name? Whoever does the bulletin. Mary. To Mary. Submit to Mary. That we're requesting meetings. We're requesting for people to join. Okay, and put it in there as an opinion. You need to, listen, everybody needs to step it up a little bit, because if you sit back, it's just going to keep on going the way it's going. It's not going to change, okay? And by stepping up, I mean maybe a year, 2 years at the most. You step it up. Once you get everything into place, then it's easy. It's easy. I've gone to a couple different associations around here, and everybody is so friendly. They're doing everything right. Holiday Heights lists everything that they're supposed to do. They have the same attorney. Why are we not doing that? You can't say, oh, the attorney didn't tell us. He's told everybody else. It's the same attorney. I looked it up, okay? And it's not that it's complicated information, okay? You have to have a meeting in front of the share owners, do your binding vote. We can't say a word. We can't influence your vote, nothing. But you have to explain to us what you're trying to do. You have to explain to us what the expense is, okay, and why you're doing it. Brief. You can't vote on, say, we're going to put in 59 bushes. We don't know what they're going to cost yet, but we're going to put them in. Everybody vote. Okay, we're good. But you don't know what it's going to cost. You can't do that. That's what they did with this wall. There was nothing about that wall notified to anybody. And that also is a violation of that 2020 law. Everything they did after May 2020, everything, I don't care what it is, that was not in that budget, okay, has to come before us. They violated. This is where I want to get them straightened out. I had requested, in my last meeting was March 30th, and Barbara Egner said, I'm going to, have Beverly get this for you. And I says, I want the minutes for every binding vote that you guys took since May of 18. Well, the recorder didn't work sometimes, and then I says, I don't care. The law says you have to keep minutes. We are allowed to have those minutes, okay? We got nothing in over a year. Listen, I'm not on this too long, so that's why I'm only saying the past year. If I went back, I'm sure there's a lot more, because even the old laws restricted them from doing a lot of stuff.
What's so complicated about that recorder? That we have to have Greg there recording this meeting, that it doesn't work sometimes.
When Terry came to my house, I did say to her, well then, all right, so you're saying I'm not going to get in the computer, whatever. Let's have Judy come to one of our meetings and let us question her why these numbers are not adding up. She can explain it to us. No, Judy and Greg will never be at another meeting. That's what she said. Judy and Greg will never be at, because they don't belong there. They're not share owners. They're not part of the board. They don't belong there.
What is their function?
Greg is the head of maintenance. Judy is the administrator who does all the receiving and the paying.
So they're handling the money, they're handling the finances, but they're not in any way responsible for that?
We have a treasurer. Barbara is responsible right now. Henry was responsible before Barbara took over. Nobody knows anything about accounting, ever, in a long, long time. And also in the bylaws it says that when a treasurer of the association quits, resigns, whatever, before his term is up, that triggers an automatic audit of the books. Automatic. Because you're quitting why are you quitting? We know why he quit. He quit because I wanted to get on the board. And they figured if they got him to quit and they disqualified my resume, which was illegal also, okay, they disqualify my resume, then there's no election. And I have that in writing from Terry. No candidates, no election. Against the law, there should have been write-in votes on that election from last year that we got screwed out of. So at a minimum, 6 candidates, 6 spots should be open, okay? And I originally thought it was 4. Joan had brought up 7. I think it's 6 because I can't really say about Beverly. She was saying Beverly was appointed also because John Forsythe resigned. Beverly was appointed, so that would make 7 spots open. Okay, but was she appointed before May? Right.
She lost the election, John Forsythe. And then when John Forsythe
Right.
stepped aside, the board put her in.
So wait, I don't understand.
2 are up.
Are they not gonna run again?
They're running. Terry said she's running. But she said she's running because the only reason she was going to run was because Paul was running. And so I don't know if that's going to change. I do have in writing from last year where she says, I'm not running again. Okay, but she changed her mind and she's allowed to.
So anyway, that's 2.
Yes.
And we got the 2 appointed.
That's 4. Then you had the election of last year was John and Barbara and Henry. Okay, so Henry was gone, so you got those 2. Then Beverly was appointed also, but the question that I have is, was Beverly appointed before the May 20 law change? And
Yes.
also,
Yes.
Yes, she was.
you know, is it retroactive? Okay, before the law change, the way that the bylaw is read, if you appoint somebody, okay, it has to be in front of the share owners. I don't know if that happened. I didn't go to the meetings. You guys would probably know, whoever went. You know, was she appointed in a meeting in front of you guys?
No.
No. So that's a violation. So then she should be up too. All 7 seats, okay? So this is an opportunity of a lifetime that we're getting, and you're only getting it this year, where you can get a new board, or at least a majority. I would say, you know, voting for the existing board, I would go for the 2 newcomers first and keep the incumbents out. You don't want to vote for, you know, Terry, Barbara, John, and who's the other one? Mario. You don't want to vote for them. You want to vote for everybody else that's on there, or write-in vote. Okay? And that's what you got to try to do. You're trying to get a majority of the board. Okay?
Other than Paul, has there been anybody else that came up to you? and
Yes,
said
yes, there were
anybody-
2 people that came up to me, and I haven't really talked to them, but I'm going to reach out to both of them this weekend and say, we got to step it up now. Okay, you got to start telling us what you're going to do.
Because September 1st,
Right.
it has to be in.
Well, according to the bylaw, here, I didn't get to look at the bulletin. I did get it today, but I didn't get to look at it. But according to the bylaws, in the July bulletin, there should be a request in there for resumes.
I thought resumes aren't required.
Excuse me? They're not required now, but still, according to the bylaws, it says that resumes being submitted is supposed to be posted in July. So if they decide, okay, well, that bylaw is no good no more, okay, which it really isn't. It's no good no more. Well, actually, there's new laws on resumes. They do still have to be submitted. Thank you.
She wants it back.
Ooh. I'm not going to read it now. I got
If
mall
there's anything in there you want to pull for anything.
We lost 160,000 this month.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Great
Yeah.
salary.
Michael,
All that money for the easement, is that the common ground?
We're going to get to that. Let's get Nancy.
the minutes from our last meeting.
Yes.
Terry says there will be 2 people,
Running on the
whose
board.
seats will be up for, you know, election.
Okay. Now, in the minutes, I didn't get to read them yet, but if she posted it, because that meeting was June 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's got the minutes in there, and then she says that there's 2 directors. Okay, then the challenge has to go into the DCA immediately. Okay, they do allow you to challenge the election. I think up to 15 or 20 days before the election, where they gives them some time where they can tell them, well, you got to do it different. So I'm going to tell them, don't print any ballots because you're going to reprint them, because that's not right. Okay, and I'll bring the actual. Actually, I emailed her the new rule, telling you that you can't appoint, and anybody that's appointed cannot extend the term. Okay, you can't, like John was extension of term. He was the president. There was no election, so they extended his term. He's the president again for the next 3 years or whatever it may be. Okay, that's illegal. You can't do that. Okay, so that's where his challenge is.
Too much of a hothead.
They're all hotheads, believe me. I've got attacked by all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hotheads too, because, you know, they piss you off when they piss you
Yeah.
off. This is terrible.
I'm still upset about the $15 that we have to pay extra for a HOA fee that we got nothing for.
Yeah, well, they blame everything on
I
COVID.
can't believe that.
Gene?
He wants to ask you.
Oh, go ahead, Gene. Joseph, I'm sorry.
You have new rules as of May of 2020. It appears that there have been a bunch of violations that counter these new rules.
Yes.
Why? Who enforces these
The
new rules?
DCA.
Okay, so why aren't we pursuing that avenue? Why
Be-
go back 10 years?
Because nobody knew until I looked.
Right, I understand.
That's what happened.
So what's the procedure for now trying to unfold these laws?
Right. That's where I need help too. Is I'm going to go up in the open meeting, and I'm going to bring this up about following the rules of 2020.
Do they know about these new rules?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the proof is in the pudding. When I showed you, this is the bulletin from Holiday Heights, same lawyer, following the rules. Okay, just on votes, stuff like that. Binding votes. Let's put it that way. The way they were doing it. Okay, now COVID did play a lot on it. Okay, but
Does that change the law?
no, it didn't change the law, and I said that to the attorney. I said, look, it doesn't change the law. Okay, but we could understand it a little bit. They were restricted from having meetings and being together and whatever the story may be. They could have had Zoom. They could have had a go-to-meeting. We can't do that because of the association is so big. It would be like a fiasco. No, but the board could have done it.
They could have said we're not planting trees till after COVID.
Correct. That's the key word. Deferred. They should have deferred everything. If they couldn't follow the law, they should have deferred. Okay? Or somehow got it to the, emergencies they can do. The sprinkler broke, the underground water line broke, whatever, they can do that. That's an emergency. They don't need to say anything to anybody. They need to report it to us, but they don't need to, have that open.
Get permission.
Yeah, as of right now, the open shareholder meeting puts a delay on their actions. They cannot just go do something. Where that's what they were doing for years. They would do it first, put it in the bulletin, and like Mary Jo just said, what's the $53,000 for? Okay, so the question I have on the $53,000 comes from an old friend of everybody's. They call him the pool mayor. He picked this out, and he said to me, he goes, Mike, $53,000 capital improvements. That's where they listed it, and it was called Common Grounds, I think, is what it was called. There is no Common Ground capital improvement. That's not a capital improvement. Okay, it's never been a capital improvement. So I don't know, maybe they ran short of money. They took money out of the capital improvement account, transferred it back into the general account, and then they paid the tree service to do common ground service or whatever, whoever. So that's one thing we want. Yes.
They're just making excuses because they had no trouble telling us our dues were going up $5,
Right.
and they made sure everybody knew that. So if they wanted to tell us that something needed to be done,
They
they
could
could have found a way to tell us.
That's the way everybody else is doing it. They put it in their bulletin. They put in there, we have to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, the board's going to have a meeting. We approved the meeting. It's going to cost $55 or whatever it may be. And they should put that in the paper. That's what everybody else is doing. Okay, because of COVID. Okay, now it has to be in front of a open meeting with share owners, and the minutes have to be precise to everything that they're doing. They cannot be,
Not the dummy.
right. And I can record that meeting. So on July 7th, I think is our next open meeting. I don't know if it's in the bulletin or not because I didn't see it, but it should say.
It said see the sign.
Yes, but also on that day, early in the day, 10:30 in the morning, they have what they, you probably heard this, they have a sunshine meeting. Okay, what that is the board of directors get together. It's open to share owners. That's where they do their binding votes the first time. Boom, right there. This is what we're doing, how much it costs, bop, 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 and they vote.
We are entitled to observe that.
Yes, we are entitled to observe that. We are entitled to record that, okay, and the meeting has got to be open. So they could do it there, okay, but the minutes have to be written for that meeting, every vote, who voted what, everything has got to be explained in minutes, in writing. That is a new rule on the explanation in the minutes of that meeting. What we need is more share owners to go to that meeting. I'm going to every one of them, but I want more people there. I don't want to be the only one, because if I go there by myself, I mean, they're just like, nobody's on his side. You know, he has got no backing or anything like that. I need support to show that there's people interested. Just take notes, watch. It's probably a half-hour meeting. It can't be a long meeting. But they cannot buy or do anything without that meeting open to us. If we don't show up, that's our fault. You can't say nothing, you can't talk. Share owners cannot talk. But we can observe the vote, okay, and take notes. Who voted for what? I don't think they're required. They may be, but I don't think they're required to print the minutes of that meeting. Okay, it does say something about the meetings have to be in writing. They have, you know, but and we can get a copy of the meetings or something like that. I have to look at that again.
How do we know they even had a meeting?
Well, that's the problem. She says, oh, yeah, we have it every month. So there's another rule about meetings, okay? And you just got your bulletin, okay? And it says, look at the electronic board for the next meeting. Illegal. They have to give us a complete calendar for 1 year of all the meetings, whether it be board open to share owners or the share owner meeting or the annual meeting. It's all got to be on a calendar now. If you change that calendar, okay, then you have to give notification within 14 days of the meeting before you can change it. If you don't, you still got to have the meeting, okay? And if you change it, then you have to reprint the whole calendar, okay?
Well, in all honesty, before COVID, it was a
They did
set
have it.
date.
They
A
would say,
set date
What?
every month.
No, that's for the open share owners, right? Okay, now what they have to give you, they could say set date, doesn't matter. But now what they have to give you is a yearly calendar like you get with your recyclables. Sunshine meeting on this day for the whole year. Open share owners meeting this day for the whole year. Annual meeting this day. Election this day. It's all got to be on a calendar. Okay, and that's supposed to be provided to us. It's also supposed to be posted in the clubhouses. Or where, you know, it didn't say clubhouses. It said wherever somebody has access 24 hours a day for us to go get it or see it. Okay, I went there 2 days ago. There's nothing. There's nothing there. Yeah, but there's nothing on it. Right, they have to have that. Right, they have to put the meetings on there. And there's a couple other things they got to put on there too. I don't remember exactly. All right. Yes.
So, the last meeting I remember us having before COVID shut everything down
Okay.
was the meeting where they introduced John Forsythe as the new board member.
Okay.
And that was it. That was the last.
That was the last meeting. And then he quit after that. Like 2 months or whatever.
Why did he quit?
Because they stuck him on the bulletin, which he knows nothing about, and they were just harassing the guy until he quit. So that's what happened. You know what I mean? He needed support too. He needed support. Listen, the difference is this. Let's just say I'm the only one that's elected. God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen to me. But let's just say I'm the only new director in there. They are not going to violate these rules. I'm not going to allow it. Okay? Everything they tell me, listen, everything they've told me so far has turned out to be wrong. Okay? So I look at it this way. Everything you tell me now, I got to investigate it. I'm not going to believe you all of a sudden. You know, just like Terry's saying to me, they're changing the program. Well, let's see. I don't know.
Why? Because Michael knows how to use QuickBooks.
Yeah, they're afraid of me getting into the program.
Nothing else.
Michael,
I'm getting into the program. Don't worry.
were you told that if you get on the board, you have to go to a course at the college?
Yes, and that I have to sign. Well, that's what I brought up in our June 9th meeting, is that there's a procedure and a ceremony that's supposed to be in front of the share owners where you sign and kind of like swear in the new director. Well, they never did that. Okay? And the rules specifically say, and this particular thing is in the rule section of our bylaws. It specifically says you are not a director until this happens. It has to happen. Okay, so we had COVID. And it's been months and months. Joe said he was there 11 months or whatever. This is your first meeting, Joe. Get up there, sign your piece of paper, swear that you're going to do your best to everybody. Sit down.
He did that in the office.
They said they did it in the office. Believe me, they just did it 2 days ago. I don't believe anything they tell me. Nothing. Zero. I just want to touch base a little bit, because it's on my mind, a little bit about the parking lot, the fiasco that's been going on. Okay. They closed down the rental parking lot. Kicked everybody out. I had spots. I waited 3 years for my spot. I finally get a spot 2 months later. They're kicking me out because they want to close down the RV lot and not rent to anybody because somebody was suing them and da-da-da-da-da. Whatever the story. Turns into a battle. Okay. So, time's going by, and I happen to be over there, and I'm looking at the first aid building, and it's got these beautiful campers and things on it, boats and campers on the parking lot, right next to the first aid building. So I go up to, there was a guy there, he just bought his brand new RV, he's polishing it and stuff. So I said, because I want to get a spot, I need to rent a spot. And, you know, I asked him, I got his name and stuff like that. Oh, you got to rent it from the first aid. Okay, that was the deal. Okay, so I got into an argument in March 30th with John in the board meeting that I was attending with legal counsel there for them, not me. It was 8 against 1. Okay, and we were discussing the parking lot. And John is screaming at, oh, we can't do anything about that. Was deeded by Hovnanian to the first aid squad. We can't do nothing about that. I said, John, you're a liar. I go, I have it on a recording. His voice on a recording telling me, well, Mr. Allegri, I gifted that lot to them. They're a non-profit. You want to challenge me on that? I have it on my phone. He left a message on my phone like an idiot. Okay, so that's mine. I can use that for whatever I want. I'm ready to put it online or play it in the meeting. Okay, so goes by and by. So the March 30th meeting, I'm bringing this up, and the lawyer's saying, where did you get this information? How do you know this? I got pictures, I got maps, I got everything. Okay, and he goes, well, John was speaking to me about, the first aid squad earlier. So now I'm thinking after the meeting, they're already discussing on granting or leasing a portion of our property to the first aid so that they can rent out spots and they collect the money. Okay? They've got 50 spots times 500. That's $25,000 a year. They get for our property that we're liable for. We got to maintain it. What's going on here? That was an illegal, and the lawyer knows because he admitted, oh, we're under discussion in the meeting. Okay, he admitted it. And he also put it on his worksheet. He covered his ass. And I told Terry this. I go, Terry, the lawyer covered his ass on that piece of paper that John thought was like the best thing to have everybody get a copy of. And it was a worksheet. It wasn't answers and questions. It was a worksheet. And in the worksheet, the lawyer even states the law that says cannot be leased out unless it's in front of the share owners. We get 2/3 of a vote. If they don't get 2/3 of a vote, they can't do it. Okay? And he put it right in there. And I told Terry, I said, Terry, you guys are, just causing all kinds of problems because you're listening to a guy, he covers his ass, but he's throwing you guys, so he's letting you do whatever you want to do. You know, did he advise you to not do that? Because if he did and you did it, that's a problem. And if he didn't do it and you did it, that's another problem. So either way, it's a problem. They did it wrong. Okay, so when she came over, so what happens, she came over that one day, she gave me the phone bill. She came back later that afternoon. No. I asked her if she looked at the emails I sent her, maps, tax maps, payments, everything to do with that first aid property, what they own. Skyview showing the lot with the parking on it, showing that it's ours. Everything was in there. Oh, I didn't get a chance to look at it. She emails me the next day. Michael, you're right. We do own that lot. Okay, that's all she said. So she's admitting that all that, you know, she looked at the map, she looked at everything, she must have talked to the lawyer, whatever. Say, look, the gig is up. You know what I mean? He caught us with this. Okay, so not only did I caught him with the previous way they did it, now they did it again with the lawyer involved. They can't do that. Okay, these are the type of things that are going to go to the DCA as violations if they don't want to straighten. You know, I'll give them a chance, straighten out all the stuff. You know, you had a year already, you did nothing is what you're telling us. So now you want me to challenge it and just, you know, what the law says, the DCA is going to contact them, and if they don't straighten it out then the DCA is going to fine them, or whatever, then they can appeal that, you know, but it's definitely going to get issued. Okay, I went right to the top, and the Lieutenant Governor is the leader of the pack. All right, so that's that issue.
What you're saying is that the gift of that lot is
Mhm.
illegal. The
Gift, yes, the gift was illegal, but now they went into a lease. So now, as a share owner, we have the right to get a copy of the lease agreement. The lease agreement should only be for 1 year. That's according to our bylaws. You could only sign a lease for 1 year. Okay, the board of directors could only sign. Not only that, it's supposed to go in front of us first, which it never did. So
you could also go to the first aid squad and ask them for a copy of the lease. First
Yeah,
aid
they have
squad.
to have a copy.
they should have a copy, yes.
They don't have to give it to you.
They don't have to give it to me, no. But the association has to give it to you. They have to give it. That's one of the new rules, the financial rules, is that if a share owner requests any receipt, any expenditure, in writing, you got to do it in writing. Okay, so you drop it off. I want a copy of the lease that you just made. It had to be after It had to be after April 1st. With the first aid squad, I want a copy of that lease. They have to give it to you.
And then what do you
Ronnie,
think the lease
didn't
says
they
that they
say
can
something?
sublet it?
No, but it's going to say, oh, we give you a 5-year lease. Illegal, you can't do it. Yes, it's going to, but what you're looking for is who's insuring the property. If RV blows up,
I have to
who pays? Do we pay?
They can't put it on there.
Yeah. When I first opened up the argument with the board, it was, does the insurance company know that this property is being rented to RVs and boats and things like that? What do you want?
One petition, all 3,000 people saying that we want them to get
I know, but how do you get it to 3,000 people?
everybody that's
Door
here,
to door.
Door to door, you're gonna get a lot. You'll get a lot of information out there.
you can't shoot everything down, because if you keep shooting down, you're gonna be looking like, all right, the wheels on the bus go round and round, and that's what we're gonna do, round and round.
That's where we're stuck right now.
That's what, well, this holiday city obviously has been stuck longer than before you came, and a lot of the people that are.
Absolutely.
All right. What I found out from this, and I'm only here a couple of years, I should have had a lawyer look at all this before I even signed my name to buying this. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
In the whole program. So, yeah, I would.
Well, in defense of the share owners,
Step down. Is that, we don't want you.
that takes 51% of the share owners to sign a petition. Then it's going to go to a vote.
Or just stop
They, once the petition is signed, you got to get 51%. I think they have 60 days to schedule the election.
Take the money that we all pay and put it in a special account. Holding.
They got it. They put it in this account, they move it to that account, they move it to the other account, back to that. They're moving it all over the place.
No, you can't withhold your HOA.
Yeah. We should have a CD. We should have a savings account. Things to off-balance the bank expense, because the bank expense is too much. You know, I remember in business, I paid nothing.
Why would there be a reason for 3 checking accounts?
She has one for the general account. The general account takes in the money. Okay? Then there's $300,000 that goes to the capital improvement account. Automatically, out of our budget money, $300,000 a year goes to that account. Okay, then they also do a separate account for the payroll, which is done by, I think, ADP or Paychecks, or one of them guys are doing the payroll. So they got to keep that account full. They usually keep it around $30,000, enough to cover payroll. Then they got to put another 30 in. Okay, we're not allowed to see the payroll account. Okay, because that's private. But the other 2 accounts we could see. The payroll account, we can see it in our budget. Excuse me?
Does that come out of like our money?
Yes, it's all ours.
How come we can't see it?
Why is payroll?
Payroll's private because of individual privacy.
I understand that. We don't have to name you as the individual, but we have to name how much money you get.
They do. In your budget for 2021, okay, when they first presented the budget, it says $675,000 is going to payroll, going to maintenance payroll. $100,000 is going to office payroll.
Why can't you get individual payroll for each individual maintenance person? You don't need their name, but I want to know how much you're paying them.
You can't. I don't know. That's a good question. Joe, that's a good question. I don't know. That's the way you should ask it. Stand up and ask that question. I'm not looking for any identity.
Your name. I just want to know how much money you make.
You have five maintenance employees. Give me the total payroll for each one. I don't care which. But you know what? They're not going to give it to you. You know why? Because the maintenance guy, the head of the maintenance, is making a ton of money. Ton. And they don't want to expose that. Huh? That's what. I know a lot of people say that, but you got to find it too, and you got to have rock solid. Okay. But you know, maintenance. Yeah, I know. Maintenance. You know, you got to look into maintenance companies. I think that's the best way to go. You know, if the maintenance company, you know, we don't have to disclose our budget. Okay. So, but they do the payroll. They do everything. That means everybody's out, gone. They do all of it.
They don't have to disclose their budget, but they're technically, for all intents and purposes, they're working for us.
Absolutely, but there's a privacy law. The state. Yeah, but it's a state. It's a state law. It's not an association law. If it was an association law, then we could have a little battle. But it's a state law that you can't disclose somebody's financial.
I don't want to disclose the individual, only the finances.
Well, that's what they do. What they do is they give you one price.
I don't care who shovels the snow. I just want to know how much we pay them to do it.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
How much is the payroll budget?
It's like 700,000.
All right, and how many maintenance people do we have?
5.
Well, it seems to me
And one, and then one office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I sign up
Thinking of going into maintenance. Are you kidding?
You know what they don't count? They don't count benefits. They don't count taxes. They don't count any of that. That's yes. That's on top. There's more on top of that 675.
So now the job is worth $150,000.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably spending $1 million for that going on over there. All right. So they did the clubhouse thing. That was a lot of work, and now. All right, now you don't have the clubhouse thing. You need 5 guys? I don't think so. Not to maintain things. The insurance money, that was another question I had going on with them that I never got a final answer, that I have the DCA involved in. They had income that I tracked was like 1.2 million. And according to the budget reports and stuff like that, they spent 1.4 million, overspent. So I'm saying, where'd that money come from? It didn't come out of capital improvements. You didn't show it there. Where'd the money come from? Okay.
A lot of the things that were in the clubhouse table was worth $100. You're gonna prorate those tables. You're not gonna get $100.
Right, right.
So the money had to be spent
I agree.
over what was taken.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not the thing about having the maintenance crew do it was going to save us money. Okay, if you followed the rules that you had to follow, then we would know if you saved the money or not. Show me how you saved the money. Did you get 3 bids first for the demolition, or you just said, nah, we'll let our guys do it? That's the question. So how can you say you're saving us money? I don't think you're saving us money when you take payroll, taxes, health insurance. They have other things they're giving them too. They're giving them a pension.
Pension fund.
Yeah, they got a couple things they're getting over there. Yeah, good job. Good job.
Never mind the board, I'm running for maintenance.
Yeah.
We're giving them a pension?
That's a lot, something. It's like, I don't know how much it is. I really don't. I don't remember, but yes, we are.
The damage that was done to the clubhouse with the chlorine thing,
Yes.
that was all covered by insurance, am I not correct?
Yes.
Why did our maintenance crew fix that? Why
Save us money.
Why?
Save us money. That was the excuse. But the thing is even if you wanted to save us money, even if you wanted to save us money, you had to come before the share owners and present it to us and present the cost and present what they're doing. We don't know what they did there. Because I was arguing, did they do the painting or who did the painting? Oh, they did the bathrooms and stuff like that. Well, it should be all listed and explained to everybody. It's not a free, open book. The problem is that throughout the state, prior to the 2020 changes in the law, most of the associations were out of control. They didn't have to answer to nobody. They just did. They did the best. They did the best they could do. Okay, a lot of complaints. So the DCA rewrote the rules. Explain what you're doing, basically, is what they're saying. Explain everything now. You can't do anything without explaining it first. We can't stop them, but if they do things that we don't like, we can vote against them when the election comes. Get them out. And that's basically where it's going to go. It's going to all fall onto the election.
We got to get more people that want to run.
We got to get a lot of people.
Get more word out.
You know.
Because if they don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
they're all blind and they think everything.
People that know secretarial or accounting, you don't really need to know too much. What does Mario know about grass? Come on. What do you need to know about grass?
They don't know what's going on. A lot of
Where do you
people
have the question back
we
there?
have to educate them. We don't
Right.
have to educate the
I think also I didn't get this far yet because my next step is to look at the rules at campaigning. Okay, there are rules, and I think that we're allowed to go door to door. Yes. Well, I don't know how much they meet. Right. I don't know how much they meet, but like I said before, there is a mechanism to have board meetings. Zoom. Go to meetings. Zoom would cost you nothing to have a meeting with 7 people.
Right.
So you just do the 7 people in the Zoom. When we approached them last year about doing Zoom meetings, they're saying, oh, there are too many people, we can't do it, it'd be crazy, we spoke to, it'd be too expensive, whatever the excuse they gave us. Well, how about Zoom just for the board? You record the meeting, okay, and you can post it. That's it. Now you did it in front of the share owners. We still had no say. Doesn't matter, but we were told what was going on before you did it.
The website to do that.
Right. There is no... I approached them in the very beginning about updating we don't control the website, blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to control it. We're going to take it back. I'm going to contact the same publisher that's doing theirs. They have an excellent format for a couple associations. It's great. It's great. But even if you don't want to run for the board, we need help with committees. We need help. So, like the secretary, you want to be the secretary? Okay, you can hire an assistant. Somebody else can chip in and help her. Okay, she can only come to the office 1-2 times a week or whatever, you know. You know, we can arrange meetings to where everybody on the board can be. The sunshine meeting is the key meeting, okay, which is the day of the actual share owners meeting, which would be July 7th this month. So like 10:30 that morning is the sunshine meeting. That's the meeting you want to go to, or you would have to be at, okay, if you were the secretary is what I meant to say. Okay, you're required to be, I think they're required to have, I think it's 10 meetings a year, no matter what. You're allowed to miss 2 of them. So now you're down to 8 that you have to be. Believe me, the meetings are not long. You know, you could see the open share owners, 2 hours? That's like a record. They're never 2 hours. Okay, but we need people to chip in. The secretary is allowed to get assistance. The treasurer is allowed to get assistance. Your assistance is not going to get paid. It's not office help. It has to be a share owner. You know, but everybody's got to chip in a little bit. Okay, so that would be a way of getting things. You know, like let's just say I get elected, I'm by myself. I need help. I can't get everything through to them. You know, I need help. Yes.
I know for a fact that half of my block doesn't have internet service.
Really?
And 1/4 of the other half are renters. So where does that leave you at?
I don't know. The internet should be there.
Huh?
The internet should be there.
Well, that doesn't mean they have it.
No. Oh, yes. There are a lot of share owners that do not have computers. And, you know, we can offer them.
A lot of times, even with a vote.
I got about 7 computers I can donate, you know.
I know they have computers.
Mm.
But the one guy only uses it for his AC benefits. Otherwise, he knows nothing. He couldn't send you an email.
No, but
anything it is.
Yeah, I know, but it's not difficult to teach the basic. You know, I'll teach them how to get to the meeting or whatever. You know, and that's it. Turn it on, turn it off. You know, but the problem, what happens is then they see the internet and they go wild because there's too much out there. You know, yeah. So you'll be getting phone calls in the middle of the night. I've got this blue screen over here. I don't know what to do. So that's a problem. No, a lot of the older generation do not have internet. My wife doesn't know anything about internet. She needed a new iPad though, but she don't know how to use it. But she knows nothing about internet. And a lot of people are like that. So that's where the door-to-door comes. We need to get people to meetings. This meeting or the open meeting or the sunshine, something. We need to get them there.
Are we allowed to use like our community center to have this?
We need to ask these questions because I don't know all that would be in the restrictions on how to use, like if you wanted to rent the clubhouse for a party or something. I don't know. Yeah, but we can have a meeting. You know, why can't we have it in the parking lot? Why can't we have it, you know, by the pool or whatever? You know?
Why can't we?
Well, we could just all show up there and that's it.
The clubhouse is open to what, 8
Yeah.
o'clock? 9 to 8.
Yeah, but I would rather be open. I'm not looking to hide. I would rather be open and have them explain everything. So the questions that should come up, can we have our own little group meeting, you know, in the clubhouse, in the library, and where? The library's big enough, right? Until
Why you just can't
I don't think
like
so.
anybody else can go read in the library.
No, but I think that you can schedule. You have to schedule your meetings. So we'll find out.
Form our own little group, like CHC.
No, they have
the
to
Concerned
go
Power
down.
Day.
That's why you have to put
Mhm.
forward.
Just like
Well, anything, yeah,
that
that,
group or any other
yeah.
kind of group.
any kind of group that you want to, right. Any kind of group you want to create, there is a format that you have to go through. They don't make it easy. The board has to vote you approval to have your little group. Okay, somebody knew, was it you, Nancy? Somebody knew about how to set that up. Heidi knew. Heidi knows how to do that. Okay, she can lead us in the right direction on how to set up, because she wanted to, or somebody set up a photography group. She's into photography. And she said the stuff he had to go through just to set this group up, you know, you might have to charge everybody $3 to join or whatever, you know, just to throw them some money. But we need to, yeah, I know. We need to do something. We need to come up with ideas and move on it.
John,
Go ahead.
Can the board meetings be filmed?
Can we have a sheet for these meetings where it says perhaps committee, run for the board, so people can start signing their names up if you're not interested in running
Right.
for the board?
We have, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to answer this right.
Sunshine meetings,
We have 5 standing committee meetings, okay? Any other committee we want to make has to be approved, but the 5 standing committees, okay, so I'm going to stand up and say, okay, we have a bylaw committee, something looking into the bylaws. That's what I do, okay? I'm going to volunteer. I'm the chairman. I need 6 other share owners to join me. I don't need you to do anything. I need you to join me. That's it.
That's what I'm saying, let's sign up.
Let's do it. Let's put it together. I think the bylaws is the first thing that's got to go, because we want to get them on that road. Okay, these are the bylaws you have to follow. Okay, we're also allowed to come up with new bylaws, suggest new ones. How do they change a bylaw? They have to do an amendment. They have to vote. They have to get the community to vote. Okay, so what do we need? We need internet at the pool. We want to have Wi-Fi at the pool. I mean, that's not unreasonable. You just up the bill, you know, big times, and then we don't have Wi-Fi. It costs nothing for the Wi-Fi once you have it, for somebody to tap into it. You know, the only problem is it gets slow. If they have Comcast, it gets slower. Somebody had a question back there? Somebody had a question in the back.
Mike,
Yeah.
Can the big meetings be filmed?
No video. Audio only. Unless you make a motion to the chairman. We would like to have video recordings of the meeting. Okay? Then it goes, well, it would be a rule. That would be a rule. Okay? That's in the rules section. Okay, and which a rule, when you want to change a rule or add a rule, it's a stroke of a pen. There's no lawyer involved. It's the board directs, this is the new thing. Okay, so if we want to do that, Joe, then that's what we need to do. Okay, get them to change the rule to whatever we want it to be. Okay, we want to videotape the meetings.
So does that go?
Well, you can. Yes, you can. You
No,
can.
I'm saying they can't.
Well, that was an excuse. Listen, they got excuses. That's all they have.
So does that become a motion?
They don't have to videotape it. I'll take my phone and hold it up and videotape it. It's not hard. You don't need cameras. You don't need anything. The phone is like unbelievable, the things that it does.
So if
Okay?
we do that, does that become a motion on the floor?
You make a motion. You make the motion. I'd like to make a motion. All meetings, not all. You can do the open meetings, okay, which would be the sunshine meeting and also the open shareholders meeting and the annual meeting. The board of director private meetings, you can't. That's where they discuss who's got a fine, who broke the law, what lawsuit they got going on, or whatever's who's foreclosing. That's where they discuss that. We can't have any information on that. Only the board gets that. And they can't even talk about it outside the room. Okay.
I think she had a really good point though with the committees. You know, if you have lists of committees, like if there's like 5 or 6 of them, and then if you want people to sign up for them,
Well, we could.
have you at the top, you know, have the top person
Mm.
of each issue,
right, so what happens now? I'm going to go step up in the next meeting, and I'm going to say to the chairman, Mr. Chairman, I volunteer as a director for the bylaw committee, or the budget committee, whatever committee.
Yeah, just here.
Oh, this meeting?
Yeah, like, maybe if you could take a couple of minutes to talk about what's the next step for us to do. To
All
help
right.
you, to help ourselves, to get, instead of meetings, just have a plan, a process.
Well, that's what we're...
To get,
right.
things going.
All right, so the plan would be, I think that the right direction is to first approach the directors in the open meetings, okay? Create committees. See, you can't just create a committee. Okay, what happens is, I stand up and I say, I want to be the director of the bylaw committee. It goes before the board. They vote yes or no. 4 votes, I'm in. 3 votes, I'm out. So they get the vote. So that's what I was trying to make a point there. What do you think's going to happen? They're not going to let me do it.
So if the whole
They don't
rest
want
of
me
the
doing that
committee
one.
wants you in, and they want you out, you're out.
Right.
That's it.
Well, when it comes to committee, when it comes to committees,
Yeah, what
Okay,
I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say is, like, you said earlier that, like, this is a golden opportunity because there's 7 people that are up. So how do we get that going? Like, forget about them.
volunteer.
How do
You have
we
to
get that?
get the volunteers, get the candidates. How are you going to get them? You can.
What,
All right.
what are open? We need to know, like,
They're all open.
all of them open.
No matter what happens, let's just say they conclude that Beverly's contract is valid and she gets to stay. The other ones definitely have to go. That's 6. Okay. Besides that, you have blank write-ins. Okay, so you need somebody to start campaigning. I'm going to run. Okay, then we're going to go. First, we need the people to say, I'm going to run, I'm going to stick with you. Okay, and we're going to go for it.
Have an agenda, make an agenda, set it up, and then just before everybody's walking in the meeting, we all have good thoughts, every one of us. Fine, this is what's happening. So-and-so is gonna put a proposal in today. Would you back them? Get them as they're coming in the door.
We got to get it out. The first I wasn't thinking. I had some cards made up. I have them here. I didn't even put them out. But I had some cards made up, and I should have brought up to that meeting and just put them on the table.
Grab them as they're going
You
in.
need, okay, there's a couple other things I want to touch base on. At the meeting, if I put the cards out there, we just hand the cards out. It says, join this Facebook group, and just, if you don't like it, you can quit. You don't have to stay there, but at least get the people. We need power, okay? Another new rule that they have is,
What about these people that want to change, want to vote? The girls I mentioned, people who want to start and be on the board. Why aren't we
nobody,
them right there as they're walking in? I would do it.
you got to message me. You message me, say, look, I want to run for the board.
No, I didn't say around.
Okay. Whoever.
That's our
Yeah.
That would not work. I have a good mouth, I have a loud mouth.
Small group of people.
Yes.
Why don't we, maybe you could try to get a feel for who's here,
Yes.
who wants to
Yes.
do what,
I mean-
who's willing to do.
Who's willing to help? That's the question. Who's willing to chip in?
So we have an idea.
Volunteer. Volunteers is great. Listen, if we create a committee, okay? I don't care what committee. There's 5 committees we can do. All right.
We should do a nominating
And
committee first.
first you have to say, I want to be the chairman. Somebody's got to be the chairman. I don't think you can be chairman for more than 1 committee. Once you get to the committee, the rules say that the chairman gets to appoint 6 share owners that are in good standing to be on the committee. It does not say you have to meet 1 time a month, 5 times a month, once a year, twice a year. It doesn't say. So now you're open to volunteers. You're not committed. You're not committed. But we're still going to need leaders, okay? And the leaders are going to really, dig. I've been digging a long time, for like 6 months. I've been digging, a year, digging, so that's how I have the knowledge of what I'm telling you. Nothing I will tell you is questionable. It's all been researched. It's all been verified different ways. Okay, these are the rules. This is what they have to be. This is where we need to go. So we need to get to the rules. Okay, we need to get, I'm thinking that the bylaw committee is a good committee to start with, because you can force how come we're not following this bylaw? Good question at the meeting is, what are you doing right now? Are you trying to amend our bylaws right now? Are you discussing amending our bylaws right now? Okay, not that they could probably deny it or whatever. I don't see why they should, but they probably could deny that question, but it could be put different ways also. What are you planning on buying right now? Yes, sir.
Let's stay with the bylaw committee for a second.
Okay.
Are you saying that of this group, we should get a committee that is a bylaws committee? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that would be the best.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yes, that would be the best, is to get volunteers for the bylaw committee. I think the bylaw committee should be the first one. I think the budget committee should be the next one. The reason that I'm saying the bylaws is because the changes on elections, the way the elections are run, have changed so much that they have a lot of work to do to get those ballots out. And the ballots are restricted to certain ways. You cannot just put names on a paper anymore. They got to have the proxy ballot, the absentee ballot, the inline ballot. All three of them have to be presented to every share owner. How are you doing that? Doesn't matter, they didn't come to the meeting. You have to present it to them anyway.
You're talking to us like we're the committee right now.
I hope so.
What you need to do is find out who is willing to volunteer
Okay.
right now.
I'm waiting.
To help. Okay, that's
I'm
what
waiting.
you're looking for.
I'm waiting for the volunteers. We got one. Come on. Everybody's got to chip in a little bit.
Maybe I can get Joe in a little bit.
What are the other committees?
The other committees, I don't know if I have a copy of that here.
Whoa. Wait. Let's stay with the bylaws.
Yeah. Well, Joe's interested in other things. We know that. They are listed in the bylaws in the very beginning of the, if you have your copy.
There's the budget committee. There's all kinds of committees.
There's only 5. They're not all. Five flavors.
Right.
So he wants to do that one first, and get that rolling.
How are you supposed to
There might
look
be
at
people
anything
with
you think
strengths
of?
in other areas.
But it all flows.
You're just gonna have hospitals?
All the other areas.
Can you imagine this? We can't use this.
I'm kind of thinking like,
Somebody's cold, I have to find out. If anybody's cold, feel free to grab a blanket.
what do you call it?
No, I didn't look at the picture.
I could see them coming, throwing that out. That could have been clear. And they gave us a small. Now, when Bingo uses it, we can't put water in that and stuff like that. Why didn't they get?
In granite countertops.
But the cabinets are the
But I thought everything had to go.
But couldn't they have had that?
Nobody knows what's going on. So we need to
That was first of all, get sealed.
get it to
So, somebody needed the refrigerator. That's all I can tell you.
And that freezer was used once. Holly Twigs is the only one who used it, the new freezer is now installed.
Who's gonna use the stove? You can't rent it out. So, and how many dances do you have? I guess you can get the dancers who come in and do the stove for the dances.
I only have twice a year we have
I'm sorry, Joe, I can't find it.
That's crazy.
But there are 5 standing committees that we can create, that are created already. One of them is the priority list type thing. budget priority list, which I've been screaming about that they haven't been providing. Right now, this is already, July coming up here. You got the elections coming first, so they need to get all that stuff straightened out. But also, how do you make a budget for 2022? You have to start now. You need to shop your grass cutters. You need to shop, whatever you're doing in those categories. Okay, cable, banking, things like that. You need to try to save money. They're not doing any of that. They're just rolling over their accounts and not investigating any of it.
Well, the board itself that we have to replace.
Yes.
What are their jobs? Like, one is a secretary.
Yes, you got a secretary, a treasurer, vice president, president. Then you got the directors, 3 directors, which are Mary does the bulletin, so that's her thing. Okay. Joe does code, so if you want to put a deck on your house, you got to go through him. Okay, and then who's the other one?
The grass.
Mario. Well, yeah, right. Mario's a director, does the grass.
Okay, so those are the people that we have to replace. Is that what
Correct.
you're saying?
Correct.
So that's what we need to ask.
Right.
Who we want to do this, who we want to do that job.
Right. For election, it's best to have somebody that has a little bit of experience in it. I have 2 people that did say they were interested in doing it, and one of them had experience in accounting and stuff like that.
Well, that's good.
The other one was it was a gentleman. He was fuming. He was a businessman. Okay.
And he wants to run for the board?
And he wants to run for the board.
Okay,
And
so that's 3 people? I'm shocked.
Well, that's me and 2 other people. Yeah, but they're not stepping up. They say and they don't step up. So I'm going to reach out and say it's time to step up. Okay, let's start the campaign.
And she's interested, that's in that lady, right?
Which one are you interested in?
I introduced John to you. Where is he? John.
Yes. Yeah, I know. He's the one I'm going to reach out to. Is John, because he's the one that said that he wanted to.
Oh, the one that was here?
Yeah. No, he wasn't here. He's not here now.
No, but he was here at one meeting, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But also, no, he wasn't. And also, he's not into Facebook or anything like that, so he's really not up to date on it. But he was fuming. He definitely wanted to do something.
There was a fireman that was interested.
I
There-
remember at one of our meetings, there was the fireman that was interested.
Yeah, we need to step that up and get the people going, and so that we can produce candidates. Okay, and like I said, I don't object to two of the directors now because they're new. They can be molded, and right now with the mold that they're getting is terrible because they're follow the leader mold, and we don't want that. Every single director has their own responsibility. The president's vote is no different than the director's vote. Okay, the responsibilities are the same. Okay, the president runs the meetings, okay, and he has certain things he does, but his vote is no more powerful than anybody else's. So that's what I was trying to do. When I sent in my questions for March, I sent a letter to the board and said I want each individual director to research what I'm asking. Okay, and if you need references on the research, I'll send you an email link and you can look at it, read. Nobody even looked. They follow the leader. Okay, and that's the problem.
Mike, you said you have less of a problem with 2 of them. Which positions?
The last 2 that were appointed would be Joe and Mary.
Okay.
Joe Freesia and Mary something.
So all the other 5.
But
Yeah.
according to your new rules, they have to be voted in too.
Absolutely. They have to be voted in, yes.
I heard it mentioned that if you're a board member, you have to go take
Well,
those courses.
No, it's a half-hour course. It teaches you about fiduciary. Believe me, it's not a big thing.
Fiduciary, hope, there's a whole bunch of them. You go arbitration.
Well,
I can't
yeah.
believe that our board members went and took that.
Well,
That's
that's what they told us. They took the course. I was told it's a simple little course. They just want to explain it to you because you.
Apparently you don't have
Okay.
to taste that course.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
We probably paid for that too.
Okay, any other questions?
Is there any questions we need to ask at this July 7th?
Yes, I'm going to on the Facebook. I don't like putting it there because they're hawking us. They know we're here right now. Okay, so they're hawking us. So if I put a list out, okay, they're gonna know before what the list is. Okay, I did do a couple last month personal message. Here's a question for you to ask. Okay, and that's a good way to do it. So I could click on name. I don't know. If you're interested in asking a question, because a lot of people are not. They don't like the microphone. But if you're interested in asking a question, then you got to contact me or put a note on the sign-in sheet that you want a question, and then we can do a personal message and keep it private. Okay? There are a couple that are not here that I have done that with, and it worked out perfectly. That's how I got Terry to spit out that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's the truth. And if she put that in the bulletin after that meeting, what is she going to say? Oh, I didn't have time to contact the lawyer. So you had a year to contact that lawyer. You had a year to learn what that rule was. Okay? That's the problem. They're a year behind and they're still not looking at it. I tried to put a separate private group together. We did get 6 people in there or 7 people in there, but it went nowhere. It just, just for questions. And actually, I think I even named it about the bylaws, how to do the bylaws, checking on it. And this is what really started me into looking for the rules, the laws, and not just what's in this little book. The state has, the Radburn Act that they follow. Then they also have a Title 15 planned neighborhood titles and stuff like that for our associations, rules, different things that you have to follow. Okay, and then there's another one that the DCA has. Well, the DCA their section is 526. If you read that whole section, has to do mainly with the election. The Department of Community Affairs. It's run by the Lieutenant Governor, okay, and she has a division underneath her. And then they created, I don't know if it was this year or last year or whatever, the Department of Administration something. That's administration, whatever. But that's where you file your complaints to. Okay, I originally filed it right to the governor. I am not playing around. Then it got handed down, and I ended up with the lead of the homeowners association. His name was Fay. Then he handed it off to this one lady named Mary, who was very, very nice. And she called me on the phone, actually, and said, look, I have no help. I'm here by myself. So they got problems over there, too. But she's been there for 10 years. She's seen it. She actually said that the Holiday City Berkeley's had problems in the past.
Oh, yeah.
They've had problems. She remembers, and she knows a lot. And I explained to her about the voting rules and a couple other rules, and she agreed 100% with everything that I come up with. I understood what I was saying. See, the problem that we have now, what they're used to, this is what they're used to, and they still can do it in a way, is that the lawyer knows the rules. We know the lawyer knows the rules because the other associations are following the rules, okay? The lawyer tells them, I don't know if he told them the rules, but let's say he did tell them the rules. They're still not following because nobody's complaining. Once the complaints start, what happens? Well, I'm going prior now. What happens? You complain to who? Nobody. There's nobody to complain to. The DCA. You can go to the DCA, but they had no division to follow up and stuff like that. So they could send a letter, and even to this day, they could send a letter to our association and say, you're not providing what the share owners are supposed to get. How come? And the board could still say, we provided everything they asked for, or whatever. Okay? So then it flips over. So now the new rule is, yes, they're going to send the letter back, and they're going to deny they're not following the rules, and I'm going to have recordings. I'm going to have all the paperwork that I have, every rule, every communication. I've been in 3 meetings. I've got probably 1,000 pages of stuff all ready to go. Okay? Yes?
Do you ever call the lawyer directly?
Yes, I did. I spoke to him.
Do you have to pay out of pocket?
No, because you know what? You know why? Because they contacted me first.
They tell you right in the bulletin that you would have
If
to
you
pay.
call the lawyer and say, "Look, I want to have a closing or whatever," you're paying the lawyer. Okay? They contacted me first. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, I didn't contact him. He contacted me. I represent John McGinnis. You know. That's but if you read his writing, he covers his ass in everything he writes. You know, like he's advising them correctly, but they're not following the rules because it's a long road to get them to obey those rules. So now the DCA is shortening it up a little bit. They can fine them and cause some problems, and that's what we're going to try to do. Keep on bringing. That's where I want the questions is, I have things on elections. I have things on the budgets. I have things on the binding votes. And, you know, and I told them straight out to the fact, I'm not hiding anything. I got problems with binding votes. You're not doing it correctly. Meetings, they're not notifying the share owners correctly. How could 3,000 people know that this meeting is July 7th? No way. You got to look at the bulletin board. Have you gone by the bulletin board? Because I haven't seen it say July 7th meeting. It's the one by the traffic light that if you have a red light, you can see it.
Yeah, if you got a red light, yeah.
If you have a red light, you can read it. It's right in front of the clubhouse on the corner. It's out by the street.
The electronic board.
I know, I have the bulletin. I just
But
have to know
the
what-
rules say, the new rules say you cannot advise or you cannot tell the people about meetings that way. You have to give it to them in writing. You have to put it in a bulletin. You have to put it in on the internet. You got to put it in like 3 different places. You can mail it to them. Everybody individual. Everybody has to be notified, and they're not notifying everybody. Not with an electronic sign, not with a little sticker on the front of the bulletin that says, look at the sign. That's not good enough. You know why? Because a lot of owners do not live here. They rent.
Well, before COVID, in all honesty, before COVID, they did have it in the bulletin every month. They would show the next month's meeting. And it was the same time, the first Wednesday.
Yeah, I remember seeing all that.
First Wednesday of every
I
month.
remember seeing all that on the first page until it ended.
Until COVID.
But the thing is now, why is it not on this? You first of all, they got the June 9th minutes. They have the June 9th stuff in this bulletin, the new bulletin. Okay? You told us in the meeting, July 7th is the next meeting. Why is it not in the bulletin? Why? But still, that's not adequate. That doesn't get to enough people. Well, it does get to everybody. Okay? But you have to give it to them. You have to give it to them personally, is what it said. You have to give it to them personally. Post it. It's got to be posted. It's not posted anywhere. It should be posted by the pools. It should be posted in the locker rooms. You know, different places where everybody's using this stuff. That's where it should be posted. Right. So we got work to do. I need help doing it. You know, like I said, it's not hard. You click on my name. It's a personal message. I keep everything private. I'm not going to, you know, give 2 different people the same questions and things like that or information. Okay, I'm not going to steer you wrong. What I didn't like about the last meeting was that a couple people got up and they were asking questions, but they didn't research their question. You can't do that with this board. You cannot do it. You have to know what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you how to, you know, what to approach. Okay. When Paul got up there asking for the cable bill, right before he got up, because, you know, he's hooked on that. But right before he got up, I whispered in his ear. I said, Paul, be specific. what you want. You want an unredacted cable bill for all the cable that we have with Comcast or whoever it may be. He got up there and didn't ask the question. He didn't get the answer. They're not going to give you the answer if you don't ask it correctly. They're looking for a way out of the answer. Why they're so secretive, I have no idea. It's not going to hurt them.
Spending our money and having fun.
Well, the fun is over. The fun is over, and they got a year of explaining to do. You know, and they didn't start explaining anything according to what everybody's telling me they saw in the bulletin. You know, it's call more meetings, whatever, right? Start explaining. Then you got more minutes that can go out to the people. You know, post the minutes in the clubhouses or whatever, so people could see it. I never got notified of the last meeting. It was word of mouth. So, how many people did not hear about the last meeting?
Well, they don't want you at the meeting.
No. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. They're obligated. Yes, this year, or even for the last year, they're obligated to notify you 14 days, I think, before the meeting. They have to, everybody, individual has to be notified. So, I'm saying the bulletin probably could be a good way of doing it, but they have to do it, then they gotta post it, they gotta do different things. Then they can use the bulletin board. But they can't just do the bulletin board alone and robocall. Robocall's out. No way. Because you only got 500 people on robocall.
You have to sign up for it.
Yeah, you have to sign up for it. Yeah, but if you don't want to sign up for it, then what? In the new laws, it says it has to be in writing, it has to be posted, it has to be in a paper, it has to be on the internet, it has to be somewhere. You have the internet site that holidaycity.org is run by the publisher that does, I guess they do our bulletin, but it's not there. They never update the information. You know, it should be updated by now. We'll see. I'll check it out when I go home, but that's another thing. They have to notify us correctly. You know, especially like the Sunshine meeting. I don't think anybody knew about it. Or
We did. Charlie used to take care of our big no. He was the only one that used to go.
right. There was one person that used to go.
Charlie. That was it.
Yeah, everyone.
Okay.
He questioned every budget, every meeting.
What's her name? Joan. What's her name?
Marie.
Marie. What's your last name, Marie? Okay. Well, I'll call you Marie. Thank you. Thank you. I'll keep you up to date. Okay. We'll be posting more stuff. Questions, volunteers. We need questions, volunteers, and we need candidates. Don't throw me to the wolves. Listen, I had 3 meetings with them already, and they don't like.
They don't like anyone that questions them. They don't like anyone that questions them.
No, well,
Me and John are on real good talking.
Oh, really? There's nobody on good talking terms with John.